Welcome to Tri-Valley Sports Final, your program for the best in local sports action. On this week's show, Miles Pollard lights it up from long distance as the Dublin boys basketball team faces the Doherty Valley Wildcats. Damian Miles leads the way as the Granada Matadors take on their crosstown rivals, the Livermore Cowboys. And Megan Huang is outstanding as the Amador girls basketball team battles Livermore in the EBAL playoffs. All that plus Foothill Granada and Amador Livermore boys basketball and much more right here on Tri-Valley Sports Final. Welcome back to Tri-Valley Sports Final. I'm Ian Bartholomew. On this week's show of boys basketball as Dublin takes on Doherty Valley and Granada faces Livermore. We'll also have EBAL playoff basketball as Foothill squares off against Granada and Amador beats Livermore in both boys and girls action. So lots of hoops. And to get us started, it's my host, Tim Sabrani.
Great. Thank you, Ian. You know the city bragging rights would be on the line for boys basketball out in Livermore as the Livermore Cowboys hosted the Granada Matadors. Livermore came into this game with an overall record of 14-11. Granada, meanwhile, entering with a mark of 7-18. And there you see the capacity crowd at Livermore High School. They would be excited for this one. Head coach Mike Tripp talking to the refs early in this contest. We do pick up the action in the third quarter as Livermore's Jacob Green pushes the fast break, kicks it to Dylan Wary on the wing, knocks down the three-pointer. The home crowd would like that one. Here's Dylan Wary again, driving in the paint and scoring. Livermore at this point trailing just 31-30. Granada looking to get things going and extend that lead as Damian Miles drives and scores. Answering back on the other end, we see Amari Chandler driving and hitting the baseline jumper. Matadors back. Now there's the sophomore, Brandon Hahn. Nice spin baseline. He would score 2 of his 9 points on that one. Two teams trading buckets here as Amari Chandler hits the long three. We are all knotted up at 35 apiece. Granada looking to regain the lead as the ball's kicked back out to Sebastian Terrell. He knocks down a three-pointer. Matadors back on top. They would extend the lead to 5 until Amari Chandler would drive and score. So at the end of the 3, Cowboys only trailing 40-37. Damian Miles gets into the paint, responds with the jumper, gets the shooter's bounce. But look at that long three-pointer, Amari Chandler knocking it down. 3 of his 23 points. Granada clinging to a 1-point lead, 42-41, until Sebastian Terrell hits his three-pointer. Going back up by 4. Livermore eventually cutting it to 3 on that floater by C.T. Harper. 46-43, 2 minutes left. But it would be all Matadors down the stretch. Here we see Cordell Taylor. He would get 2 points there. Now it's Damian Miles driving, baseline, scoring, extending that lead, and Matadors get the final points of the match. There you see them rushing the floor to celebrate the victory as Granada would go on to win by a score of 52-43. Damian Miles pacing the Matadors to 18 points, while Amari Chandler leading the Cowboys with 23. A close game again, as we said, until the final 2 minutes. Granada able to pull away with a 6-point run at the end of the game.
Yeah, great job defensively by the Matadors, allowing only 6 points in the fourth quarter. From the line, Granada was 10 of 12. Livermore only 7 of 19, and that killed them.
Yeah, that killed him. And having a weapon like Miles, you know, he's been able, does a lot of different things, creates opportunities for others, hits some big baskets. Nice win for Granada. Good way for them to finish their season. Livermore, though, they're still heading to the postseason.
Yeah, and Terrell always seems to hit some clutch baskets at the end.
No doubt.
Yep, and we are just getting started with basketball. Up next, we'll have more as Dublin and Doherty Valley square off in our Tri-Valley Sports Final game of the week. Plus, a little bit later, we'll see the Amador girls face the Livermore Cowboys in EBAL playoff action. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Tri-Valley Sports Final. It promised to be an exciting EBAL boys basketball showdown as the Dublin Gales hosted their rivals from San Ramon, the Doherty Valley Wildcats. Dublin came into this game with an overall record of 21-4. Wildcats, meanwhile, entered with a mark of 19-6. To further heighten the emotions, the game also marked the return of former Gales star Jalen Stokes to Dublin for the first time since transferring to Doherty Valley over the summer. And we go out to Dublin. Gales warming up for this big matchup. Dublin head coach Tom Costello looking on. We start off with some Gales defense. Doherty works it inside to Jalen Stokes, and he is rejected by Cameron Anderson. Now Dublin goes to work on offense. Anderson takes a pass from Miles Pollard and lays it in. Wildcats answer. Cole Roquet drives and scores. Moments later, Stokes pulls up and buries the jumper. Gales respond. Jordan Morgenstein to Miles Pollard for three. Dublin grabs an early 5-4 lead. More Wildcats. Kenny Cloud to Zene Mojadidi. Back to Cloud for three. Now Stokes leads the break. Roque back to Stokes. Doherty's run continues as Stokes muscles it in. Then the Wildcats work it around to Modesto Christian transfer. Rashad Cotton Jr. Doherty leads at this point 14-6. Dublin comes right back though. AJ Knight to Miles Pollard, who pulls up and drills a long three. Gales are just heating up though. Moments later, Pollard gives to DeMoss Coley, who buries another three. More Dublin defense now. Cotton drives and is swatted away by Anderson. Now back on offense, Coley gives to Aiden Lee, to Dylan Youngquist, back to Lee, who lays it in. And this time, Pollard inbounds to Jaden Jones for two. He finished with 16 points, 13 in the second half. Early in the second quarter, we are tied at 16. Doherty responds. Cotton stops and hits the turnaround. At that point, Miles Pollard begins to take over. Here, he pulls up and nails a three. Dublin jumps on top, 19-18. Moments later, he does it again, taking the pass from Lee and drilling it from Steph Curry range. He is fired up. Now Lee leads the break. Ahead to Anderson, who muscles it in. Back and forth we go. Stokes buries the turnaround. He finished with 23 points. Dublin now. Pollard to Anderson, who drives the lane and lays in 2 of his 10 points. Now, jumper is off the mark. Jordan Morgenstein rebounds. He then pushes it up court to Pollard, who pulls up and nails his 5th three-pointer of the first half. He finished with 18 points. But the Gales come right back. Doherty does. Alonzo Walker sinks the jumper. And the Gales finish it up. Morgenstein ahead to Lee. Dublin goes on to defeat Doherty Valley 64-61. Miles Pollard and Jaden Jones combined for 34 points as the Gales earn the win. Dublin outscored the Wildcats 24-13 in the third quarter to pull away, led by Jaden Jones 11 points. So great win for them. Dublin would be eliminated though in the EBAL playoffs by De La Salle. So now they look forward to both the North Coast section playoffs and then NorCal.
Yeah, and a win like this may put Dublin in the open division. We'll see what happens when the brackets come out. But great win for the Gales. That third quarter, as you said, that was so decisive. Big run. Jaden Jones in particular was huge. And they did a great job on Stokes, who had an amazing first half. Really dominated the first half, but the Gales defensively held him in the second half. And I think that allowed them to get the win. So congrats to Dublin, and best luck to Doherty Valley as they head into NCS as well, probably in the open division. From the EBL regular season, we go to the league playoffs and feature the girls. The A-seeded Amador Valley Dons hosting number 9 Livermore. And here we see Isaiah Moore looking on in the early going of this one. And Amador Valley would get the points right here. It would be Megan Huang inside. 2 points there off the pass from Ella Case. Here she is again in transition, coast to coast. Amador Valley up comfortably early by a score of 29-12. Livermore getting back in it after getting the steal, Angie Batia. And she goes coast to coast herself for the layup. Nice job there. But Amador Valley the other way. Look at that nice crossover by Ella Case. She would drive and score. And then we see Lucy Bart on the inbound. There's Megan Huang with the bucket in traffic. Nice job there. Cowboys Joe on the other end. Look at this long jumper knocked down. Jules McCafferty. And here we see again McCafferty, this time more of a mid-range jumper, knocking it down. And there we see another one there. That one was Faith Ugunfume, three-pointer. We'll finish it with this. Megan Huang, a three-point basket for Amador Valley, and the Dons would go on to win this one by a score of 49-24. You see the final score there. Amador would eventually be eliminated by the 5th-seeded Granada Matadors in the quarterfinals. Both teams improved this year and look to get even better next year.
Yeah, Dons won 9 games. They were up from 5 last year, and Livermore only won 3 games this year, and they came away with 9 victories. So a good improvement there. Not really indicative of the best players from each of these teams. A lot of key players were missing this game. Mahmoud, the leading scorer from Livermore, was out. Bartolome from Amador was out also. So, you didn't really get a good feel for both of these teams. But Amador comes away for the victory, and both these teams, lots of room for improvement in the next year. They've got a lot of young players on each squad.
Well, and you can see the improvement all this year. Where both teams have come up, and we'll look forward to seeing more good things, a lot of young talent, both for Amador Valley and Granada.
And that's going to do it for the girls. Up next, we'll have EBL boys playoff action as Foothill takes on Granada and Amador meets Livermore. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Tri-Valley Sports Final. Before the break, we saw some first-round EBAL playoff girls action. Now we move on to the boys. The 8th-seeded Granada Matadors hosting number 9 Foothill. Granada won the regular season matchup between these two teams, 73-57, behind 31 points from junior guard Damian Miles. And we go out to Granada. Matador head coach Marcellus Clay talking to his team, while on the other side, Foothill head coach Tommy Seck instructing his squad. This would be a close game throughout. Pick it up in the first quarter. Granada's Sebastian Terrell drives in, scores, and draws the foul for a three-point play. Mats lead at the end of one, 18-14. Second quarter, Foothill heats up. Sahas Krishnamsetti buries a three. Moments later, off the miss, Jack Fowler grabs the rebound and banks it in. He had 9 points in the first half. Now Falcons again push it up court. Vedant Mehta to Krishnamsetti for another three. And if it works once, try it again. Mehta to Krishnamsetti for three. An 11-0 run by the Falcons. They jump on top, 25-18. Granada responds. Landon Flanagan to Cordell Taylor, who spins and scores. He had 6 in the first half. Now more Mats. Damian Miles goes to work, flipping it in and drawing the foul for a chance at a three-point play. Moments later, Miles does it again as he drives. No good, but he's there to tip it in. And one more time, Miles shows his quickness as he glides past the defender for 2. He had 9 points in the first half, but the Falcons would rally in the second. Krishnamsetti flips in 2 of his 16 points as Foothill goes on to win this game 59-51. Falcons outscore Granada 32-22 in the second half as they pull away for the win. Foothill would advance, but would eventually be eliminated by Dublin in the next round. But both teams have promising futures and a lot of key players back. Yeah, very promising future, particularly for Foothill. They play so hard. And, they were so close, too, to an NCS berth that lost to Amador Valley in the last game by 2 points. Yeah. They had Cal High on the ropes as well. So Foothill, a very talented team. Granada, we saw the second half improvement. We know they'll bounce back next year as well. From the boys 8-9 matchup, we'll go to the 7-10 matchup on the girls' side. Amador Valley Dons with the record of 18-8
on the boys' side, Amador Valley 18-8, taking on the Livermore Cowboys, who come in with a mark of 14-12. And there we see the Dons huddle, and they are up in the third quarter big. And we see Livermore looking to rally back, though. Jacob Green hitting a three-pointer. At that point, they're down 14. Brody McMillan would answer back with a three-pointer of his own. And then we see in transition, Jalen Smith on the outside, pulls up, hits the three-pointer. Nice job there by him. Then we see Smith, this time kicking it out to Pace. Gets it back to Smith, pulls up for another three-pointer. Dons up comfortably, 67-44 after three. Smith finishing with 19 points. And we see some more good ball movement, and Ani Chanduri hitting the mid-range jumper there. And then more guys getting into the action. This time it would be Jeremy Light working it inside, hitting the jumper in the lane. Livermore, though, a little bit of trickery. Not really trickery, but just a nice play. Dylan Wary, inbound alley-oop. Dons didn't see that one coming. And then Wary, more tricks in his bag, this time pulling up for the three-pointer. And then now we see Ryan Notch pulling up for a jumper. He would finish with 9. And Livermore would continue some of the momentum as Dylan Wary, again, top of the key, knocks down the three, finishing with 14 points. But Amador Valley, a lot of different weapons. Here we see the nice pass inside. Bartolome to Jack Cochran. And then, look at that, to pass to the cutting Max Atkinson. Nice work. And then again, good team work. Chanduri to Jack Cochran. And if you like that combo, we'll see it again up top. Cochran gets in the lane. He would get the bucket, finish with 8 points, and did a nice job down the stretch to preserve Amador Valley's lead. They go on to win it. Kay Kruger leading the Dons 22 points, and Amador outscoring the Cowboys 49-27 in the first half. Never looked back. Nice win for the Dons.
And a big first half by Kay Kruger, 18 points, 14 in the first quarter. Smith had 13 in the first half, and just an impressive beginning by Amador, and they were able to hold it off. Livermore got it within 14, but then Amador pulled away again.
Well, that's their big three. You got the Kruger brothers and Jalen Smith, and they've had a real nice bounce-back season, and we'll look for them to potentially make some noise come the Division I playoffs North Coast section.
Yep, and we have some other news. Congratulations to the Livermore High School wrestling team. Cowboys recently captured the North Coast Section Division II Dual Wrestling Championship as they defeated top-seeded Los Lomas 40-32. It marks the second NCS Dual Wrestling Championship in Livermore history. Cowboys also won the 2014 championship as they defeated Los Lomas. Congratulations also both to the Granada and Amador Valley wrestling teams. The third-seeded Matadors advanced all the way to the Division I championship match before falling to top-seeded Liberty 49-28, so they finished second. Amador Valley, meanwhile, finishes third as they defeat 9-time defending Division I champ De La Salle for the Consolation Championship 39-34. So great job by our teams, and we're going to see some of these wrestlers coming up in the next couple of shows with EBAL and NCS individual championships.
A phenomenal season for our local wrestlers. I mean, Amador Valley beating De La Salle not once but twice. I mean, that in itself getting the first one, but then repeating in NCS. I know it was only a consolation bracket, but those are two huge wins for their program, and it doesn't get any bigger than Livermore winning an NCS title.
Yeah, sure, for sure.
So lots of great wrestling and more wrestling action to come in future shows. We'll be back with more right after these messages, so please stay with us.
Welcome back to Tri-Valley Sports Final. On our next show of EBAL soccer action as the Amador Valley girls look to defend their EBAL championship as they take on Carondelet for the title. Game is a rematch of last year's battle between the two teams, won by Amador 3-0, so that should be another exciting game out at Doherty Valley High School, and a good matchup.
It's going to be a great matchup, and they're all great matchups at this stage of the season. You know, there's so competitive, and we see some of these matchups not just in e-ball, but they carry on into NCS. February is one of the best months of the whole athletic season.
And a dramatic win by Amador in the semis, defeating San Ramon Valley in a shootout 4-2.
Yeah, and you know, that's
in the rain,
in the pouring rain,
right.
And it was cold and everything else. So, congrats to them. But I know that's just, you know, they got more great things in store for them as the postseason continues on.
And we'll also have some EBL boys playoff action as Livermore squares off against San Ramon Valley. A really good season by the Cowboys. They finished best in our area with top record.
Yeah, and you know, we're seeing soccer in Livermore, in the community of Livermore, both Livermore and Granada, the boys and girls side. We've seen things really rise up in recent years.
And we'll also have some EBL playoff girls basketball, Dublin taking on Granada. And we're going to see some boys action, Amador facing Monte Vista.
Yeah, and you see what Coach Jose Alvarez has done at Dublin, 20-plus wins, and that'll be a good one. Chris Haddon as well at Granada.
And that's going to do it for this edition of Tri-Valley Sports Final. For Tim Sprandon, me and Bartholomew, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.